That's it. Welcome everyone to Sirantwi Education channel. Um, I would like to find out if you can see my screen and also hear my voice. We're gonna start soon. We're just waiting for 1 or 2 minutes and then we start. So if you can see the screen, may you please indicate for me if you can see the screen. All right, now if you can see the screen and hear my voice, I'm going to start straight away. Um, Last week we focused on Microsoft Word Term 1, Part 1. That's the study checklist. And then this week we are only going to focus on the last part of Microsoft Word, specifically section break. We will start from section break. And then regarding section break, we'll look at page numbers, starting a page number from a certain page or excluding certain pages from numbering them, watermark on a specific page, and then others. Then we will also look at the power of ruler settings. Then we will look at proofing, track changes, columns and column break, paragraph layout. I think we discussed this one the last time. Multi-level list and the numbering, tables. Then we will also look at um, different line breaks and then tab stops, indentation and tab stop. I'll combine them by using the ruler settings, drop tab, developer, style, and then also we will look at footnotes and endnote, citations and bibliography, index, and lastly, mailings. So without wasting much time, let me straight away go to section break. Right. So I'm going to start with two stadiums. It says, find the text that starts with all-time leading performance and end with at RWC 1999 and change only this page to portrait layout. So meaning we are dividing the document in such a way that that particular page will be portrait and then the rest of the pages will be landscape. So for us to achieve that, we need to use section break. Now, section break is used whenever you want to divide the document into certain pages so that you can format it or do something on that particular page. So now let's or join me and then we open two stadiums. We are using the same document. Now, according to the question, it says we must find the word that starts with all-time leading performance. So here is all-time leading performance. Only that page must be portrait. The rest of the pages should be landscape, meaning that we have to divide this page from the rest of the pages. And in order to do that, we have to apply section break. Now, to do section break, when you click before the first sentence or the first word for that particular page, then you go to layout, breaks, and then you choose continuous page. You can also choose next page. But the reason why I always prefer continuous page is that it doesn't create additional page for you. But then if you use the next page, it is also accepted. So we go there, layout, break, and then we choose continuous. Now, after you have chosen continuous, then you click inside that page, then you go again to layout, orientation, portrait. So that page alone should be portrait and the rest of the pages will be landscape. So the trick is that you insert continuous section break to divide it, and then you click inside that page, then you go again to layout, then you select orientation, and then you choose landscape portrait. Right, so that is all for that question. Let's check the next question, one pyramid. It says insert a text watermark as follows. Use the text ancient, display the watermark only on the first page. So one pyramid. Now, the question says we have to insert a watermark that is called ancient. So we go to design watermark and then we choose custom watermark. Like I said, you can also achieve that by just going to search and then you type watermark. Then you select custom watermark. Now, here they say text watermark. You click on text watermark and then you type the text. Right. Now, we can increase it if you want the size to be increased so that it will be more visible. Let me take it to be 250. And then I can choose any color, then I apply it. Now, so the watermark is all in all the pages. That's the two pages. But we want the watermark to be only on the first page. Now, anytime they ask you to put the watermark only on the first page, then that is very easy. What you need to do is you double click on the footer of the first page so that it's going to activate the footer and then the header of all the pages for you. And then when you double click or you activate the footer, it's going to give you header and footer section or header and footer options here. Then you take different first page. Now, the different first page is the same as the section break. But we use different first page only when you want to separate the first page from the rest of the pages. So here we take different first page. Now, as soon as you choose different first page, we go to the second page. Then make sure that your footer is also activated. Then you can now click on the watermark. Then you press delete key. So the first page will now have the watermark. The second page doesn't have it. We have deleted it. That is all about different first page, which is also a form of section break. Right. Now, please don't forget to bring your questions. Just bring your questions, and then we will be able to solve all forms of your questions. The next one, to top 15 SA. Display only the text that starts with the heading photo credits and end with cross-reference here on a landscape. So here also you need to put a section break. So to top 15. Now the question says we must display the heading that starts with photo credits. So we go and look for that heading, photo credits. Or if you are struggling to find that heading, yeah, here is it. Now it says that heading and then the cross-reference here, all this must be in landscape. So what you do is you click before this photo credit, you go to layout, breaks, and then you choose continuous. Then after that, you click just after that particular heading, and then you go to layout, orientation, then you choose landscape. So that one alone will be landscape, the rest will be portrait. So that is how we insert or we change a portion of the pages to landscape. Right. Now, so this is about the um, watermark and then also changing a specific page to landscape. Right. Now, there's also another one here. Make the necessary changes to the text in the header section of the document so that it appears only on the last page. And then that is in the landscape. So let's open one M spot. Right. Now the question says we should make the necessary changes so that the text in the header section of the document to appear on the page that is landscape. So we have the header here. World Car Racing Sport. Okay, now they want this header to be only on this one that is on landscape. The rest should not have it. You know, it appears everywhere. Now, you can see that when you double click on the header, you realize that it is having header section 1. So here is section 1 and footer section 1. Then this part is section 2. They have divided it. That means they put a section break. Here is section 2. This side is also section 2 up to here. And section 3 starts from here and it ends here. And this side is section 4. So meaning there are several sections. Now we need to separate these sections before we can delete them. And in order to do that, you have to, let's start with the section 4. Then you must click here, link to previous. Why do we link to previous? We don't want it to be linked with this previous section, which is section 3. So we click on the header of section 4, then we remove this link to previous. So the header of section 4 is not linked with the header of section 3. Then again, the footer of section 4, we remove also. So in order to separate them, you have to remove both the header and then the footer. So we remove the footer and then we also remove the header. So meaning that we have separated section 4 from section 3. Now, we need to also separate section 3 from section 2 so that section 3 will now be alone. So we go there and we remove link to previous from the footer of section 3 so that it will be the link from section 2. And then the header we remove also. So now we have removed this one from section 2 and we have removed section 4 from section 3. Now, after you have removed the sections, you can now delete the header of section 4. It's never going to affect here. It's only section 4 that is deleted. Again, we can go here and delete it because they are not linked with section 3. So you can see section 2 is also deleted. Then we delete that of section 1. It's also gone. So now we don't have anything on the rest of the sections. Only section 3 is having the heading. Now I will entreat you. You need to do this. You have to put sections also per each subheading. Right. So that is how we uh, put a section break and then we remove the link to previous. If you don't remove link to previous, it's never going to work. So that is how we remove link to previous. Right. Then we move on to the next question. Apply the following format to only the last page of the document. Change the orientation to landscape and insert a diamond art around or around the page only. So that's the two spots. Now, according to the question, it says we have to change the last page to landscape, and then we put a border on only that page. So this is the last page. So meaning we have to separate the last page from the rest of the pages. So to do that, I just have to go to the heading on top of the last page. You can even just get some space just to get a space, or you can even put it here to separate it. Right. Then you go to layout, breaks, and then you choose continuous so that you can separate that page from the rest of the pages. And then after that, you now go to layout, orientation, and then landscape. So that one will be on landscape, but we need to put a border around this section only. So also, you can insert a border in different way. You can go to design and choose page borders, or you can go to search and type page borders. Borders and shading. Now, we can choose the same, we must use the art page border. Diamond art, yes. So we go here and we look for diamond. diamond add border. You look for it. Maybe I pass it. I think it could be on top. Let me choose in order not to waste time. So you look for diamond add border. Then here, you say this section. Now, if you are putting on the first page only, you say first page only. But here, only this section because we have divided it. So you select this section and then you click OK. So that you only be on that page. The rest of the pages will not have a border. So that's how we insert border. Now, I want to also show you how to insert these section breaks that work for page numbers. So that is how we insert section break. Now I want to put a section break that contains page numbers. So to PDP. Right. Now the question says we must insert a page number in the format X of Y. Now to insert a page number, you just double click on the footer and then it's going to open header and footer for you. So here we see page numbers and then bottom of the page X of Y. You look for page X of Y. Here is it. Now they didn't specify where we should place it. Now, so we have the page numbers from page 1 up until the last page, which is page 4. Now, what if the question says, start numbering the pages from page 2 here, so that it will be as 1, meaning that here should be 1 instead of this side being 1. We are not going to number here. Now, so if you don't want to number the first page, again, when you go to the footer, you click on header and footer here, then you take different first page to separate it so that the first page will not be numbered, but from the second page will be numbered. Now, it says page 2, meaning that we need to change it from page 2 to be page 1. We go again to page numbers and then we format the page numbers. Then it will be start at 1. No, they start at 0 because here is 1. So here it was 2. So we have to say start at 2. No, start at 0 rather. So that the first page will be 0, but it's not showing. Then here will be 1. So here will be page 0, but there's nothing there. But here will be page 1. You have to put section break. And then after that, you now insert that's the different first page. Then you go to page numbers again, and then you choose format page numbers. Then you just start 0 so that the first page will be 0 and then the second page will be 1. Right. So that is how we insert page numbers. Now, what about a situation whereby they want us to number them? Let me do again to PDP. What if the question says we should start numbering from here? The numbering should start from here. So the first 2 pages should not be numbered. So, because we are separating the first 2 pages from page 3 and page 4, we need to go to page 3. on top of page 3. On top of page 3, let me just get to space. Good. Now, on top of page 3, we put section break. So we go to layout, breaks, and then we choose continuous. Now, when you choose continuous, don't forget, you double click on the header and you must remove this link to previous on the header of section 2. Then also on the footer of section 2, we remove it. So meaning this is section 1. We are separating both the header and then the footer of section 2 from section 1. So you have to click on link to previous to delink it. Then after that, I can go to section 2, store header and footer open. Then I go to page numbers, bottom of the page. Then I can choose the page number. Now it says 3 and here says 4. The first 2 pages do not have any page number because I have separated them. So if I want to start here as 1, then I can change it and go to format page number, and I will say start at 1 because I have separated them. Then here will be 1 and this one will be 2. So the trick is make sure that you put section break, remove the header and then the footer from it, and then you'll be able to insert your own page number. Right. So that is all about section break. Without wasting much time, let me check if there are no questions. Then I'll proceed. Yeah, there are no questions. So I'm going to proceed. And then I move to page numbers. Right. So there are no questions. I wanted to check my questions level there, but there are no questions. So I'm going to proceed. Now I move straight to page numbers. How to insert page numbers, different first page, odd and even, and starting with a specific or starting from a specific page number. We already saw how we can start from a specific page. Now we are going to also look at different first page and then odd and then even page numbers. Right. So I'm going to start with 2 post-pandemic. You can join with me. And then the question says, insert automatic page numbering at the bottom of each page as follows. Use the dog ear numbering format. Start the numbering at 1 on the second page. So here we want to start numbering as 1 on the second page, but we are going to use the dog ear. So what you need to do is you double click on the second page, footer, double click here. Now, if you want to go back, we double click on the main document. Right, so we double click here. This is the footer section open for us. Then we take different first page because we want to separate the first page from page 2. So we are separating the first page from page 2 because we don't want to number first page. Then you will see page numbers, bottom, and then we look for the dog ear. Each page number has a specific format name. Here the dog ear, which is on the right-hand side. Now, if they ask you to take this one to the middle, you just drag it to the middle, or you can use the alignment for that. So here, there is no page number on the first page, but here there's a page number. Now, by the page number start at 2, if I increase it, you see 2. So I need to change it so that it will start at 1. I go back to page numbers, and then I choose format page numbers, then I will say start at 0. So that the first page will be 0, this second page will be 1. That is when you are excluding the first page. You format it and say start at 0. Let's take a look at other questions regarding page numbers. 100, insert automatic page number in the footer as follows. The page after the table of contents should start at 1. No page should occur on the cover page or the table of contents. So 100, please, there's no underscore. Sorry for that. Right. Now the question says, the first page, which is the cover page, the second page, which is the table of contents, should not be numbered, but we should start numbering from here, which is page 3, but rather the numbering system should be 1 from page 3. Now, this is different from the previous question that we just answered, because that one we only excluded the first page, but here we are excluding the first and then the second page, and then we go to page 3 and start numbering as 1. So to do that, we have to use the section break. We will click before the introduction, and then we go to layout, breaks, and then we choose continuous. Then after that, we double click on the header. Don't forget to remove the link to previous. You go to the footer, you remove the link to previous, but you can see here, the footer is not linked to the previous, so we are fine. Then, meaning that the first 2 pages are the link from page 3. Then we go to page 3, then we go there and say page numbers, bottom of the page, then we insert our page number. Now it says start at 0, but the question says you should start at 1 over here. So we go back there and say format page numbers, start at 1. So you can see that the page numbers are starting at 1 from page 3. Now, they can tell you these 2 pages must also be numbered with Roman numbers. So like after that, we can go there and insert page number, bottom of the page. Insert page number, bottom of the page is there. But here says 0 and there says 1. Then we can change this one, formatting. We want to change it as maybe ABC or Roman numbers. So here will be Roman number, then here will be the normal numbering system. So that's how they can give you a question in such a way that you number them. Maybe page 3 should be the 1, 2, 3, and page 1 and 2 will be numbered as women numbers, I, and then others. We will see such type of questions also. Right. Now let's check other question that is similar to that. That's the tonight. I want to check whether they're similar. Right. Okay, here, one tech. One tech is similar. So let's open one tech. Then you can do the others. From here, I'm going to different odd and even pages. Right, now this question says, change the numbering or change the page number in the footer as follows. The format of the page with the table of contents should appear in Roman numerals and should start at 1. The consecutive pages should appear in the triangle 2 format And then the page after the table of content should start at 1. Right. So we should start numbering at 1 from here. And then here, these two must have Roman numbers. So what we need to do is we have to ensure that there's section break. We double click on the header. And you can see here is section 1. This side is also section 1. So all of them are section 1. So meaning there is no section break applied. We need to insert section break over here. So we click before the smart technology and we go to layout, breaks, then we select continuous. Then when we are done, we make sure that the bottom of that one, we remove link to previous. This is section 1. And this is also section 1. So the section 2 must start from here. Let's move it to the next page. This is section 2. And these ones are section 1. We have to separate them with a page break. So now, the header of this one, we go there. Make sure that you have seen header section 2, separating from section 1. Then we have to remove link to previous. Then the footer also, we have to remove link to previous. So you can see here it starts at 1, 2, 3. But then we need to change the format over here. According to the question, the format should be triangle 2 format. So we go to page numbers, format page numbers. No, sorry, page numbers. Bottom of the page, then we look for triangle 2. Here's triangle 2. So it will start at 1, 2, 3, going downwards. Right. But the first 2 pages, according to the question, it should be numbered as Roman numbers. So we go to the footer here and say, don't forget, we shouldn't remove different first page. They are all the same section. So it should be there. Then we go to the footer of the first page. Page numbers, bottom of the page. But we have to start at 1. That's why we must say start at 1 for the page 1. It shouldn't be different first page. Right. Then again, this is 1, this is 2. And here is 1. But the question says we need to change this one into Roman numbers. So we have to go there again. Format, and then we change it to Roman numbers. So here will be Roman number I, and then here's II. Now, you realize that I said start at 2 because I think they have created, because of the different first page, there was a new or another page that was created. So that one was starting at 0. That is why I have to say start at 2. So the only thing that you must also take note is that there should be a section break. You must delete them, and then you can now insert your own page numbers. Then you can also format them to suit what the question requires. Right. That is different first page. Now, let's go to the odd and even page numbers. One example. Then we'll move to the next topic. I'm going to take one venues. Now, let's check the question once more. Apply automatic page numbering centered at the bottom of the page. Note, no page numbers must display on the first two pages. So the first two pages must not have page numbers. Then page numbering should start at page 1 on page 3. Display only odd page numbers. Use the tile style format. So this question contains so many information. Right, the first one is to make sure that we do not number page 1 and 2. Page 1 and page 2 should not be numbered. So we go to page 3. On the top of page 3, we insert section break. So we go to layout, breaks, continuous page. And then after that, we make sure that we delink. Let me undo because the page number here, we can also put it here as a table of content, just after table of content. Then we go to break and continuous to separate them. Then we double click on the header, which is section 2. We remove link to previous, both the header and the footer. Please, if you don't do that, it's not going to work. You must remove it, both the header and the footer. Then after that, we can insert our page numbers. And then the question says, we must use tiles 2. Yeah, this one. So it's starting at 1 over here. The first two pages do not have page numbers. Now, again, the question says we should only display odd pages. That means page 1, page 3, page 5. We are not supposed to display. That's page 2 and then page 4. So what you need to do is when you click on page 1, you'll see here different first page and then different odd and even. Now we have, anytime you want to separate the odd page from the even page, you take this one, different, odd, and even, so that the odd page will be differentiated with the even page. So when we come here, it says even page section 2. There's nothing there. Odd page section 2, there's something here. Even page, nothing. Odd page, something is there. So because of different, odd, and even. Now, sometimes they can ask you to even display the even page, but it should be on the left-hand side. Then you have to insert the even page, the very first even page. Then to the left, you select. Then you go to home, and then you choose alignment to left. So all the even pages are on the left. All pages are center. Even pages on the left, all pages center. So if they ask you to insert both the odd and even, then you can format it. You can even format maybe the odd page to also to the right. You go to home and then you select right. You can change them also their position. Right. So that's all about different odd and even. We will do the last question of that and then we move on to the next topic. I think there's another question here also, which is similar. One, protect. One, protect. Now the question says, add automatic page numbering to the footer of the document. All page numbers must be left aligned and then even page numbers must be right aligned. So we are going to insert page numbers, then all page numbers should be left, even page be right aligned. You double click on the footer section, you insert page numbers, bottom. They didn't specify the format of the page number. Now, you know 1 is odd number. And the question says the odd number should be left aligned. So you select the very first odd number, go to home, and then you choose left alignment. Then you go to page 2, which is the even page. Because we take different odd and even. When you take different odd and even, this one is left. Now, even page, there's nothing there. So we need to insert it. Then we align it, go to home to the right. So odd page to the left, even page to the right. Odd page to the left, even page to the right. Right. So that is how we insert different odd and then even pages. You have to activate the odd and even. There are so many questions like that. Then I'll advise that you go through them. But there is also another question here. 2 Avengers. Add page numbering to the document to display as shown. Now you can see this one, they gave a screenshot. They gave a screenshot. Now, the page numbers are not, let me just zoom it more so that you can see it. This is what is happening here. The page numbers are not at the bottom or the top, but rather on the side. The odd page numbers are on the left, which is 1. The even page numbers are on the right-hand side. They gave a screenshot. Now let's take a look at that. And they gave a specific format. So we need to insert page number. That is not this time, not at the bottom or the top, but on the side. So we go to insert page numbers, and then we choose here page margin. We call that one page margin. Now you go and look for that one. This is the page margin, which is the circle left. So it is on the left hand side. Then we take different order, even is already there. So when we come to the page 2, we go again page margin, and then we choose the one for right. So page 2, which is the even number, will be on the right. Page 1, which is odd number, will be on the left. When you come here, page 3, which is odd number, on the left. Page 4 will also be on the right. Because of different first page, and it was on the margins, not at the bottom. So watch out for this type of question also, whereby you need to insert page numbers on the margins, but not at the bottom of the page. So you must take note of that. Right, that's all about page numbers. You must watch out for this type of questions. Now, without wasting much time, I will check if there are no questions. Yeah, somebody says, so how do you fix numbering after applying the page break? Continue to next page. That's the only thing. Okay, that's what I talk about. I will do 1. So if I don't place a searching break before the page number, what happens? It's going to be the same. The pages will be the same. I'm going to answer both options here. Okay, let me just take 2 Avengers and then also explain it again. Let's say we have this. And the question says you must start numbering from page 3. Page 1 and page 2 should not be numbered. Now, this type of question, or you should number page 1 and 2 differently from page 3. Now, the moment you are dividing them or you are not in the same numbering system, That means you have to divide them by placing a section break. Now, so here we are dividing page 3 from the rest of the pages. So we can go to the bottom of page 2 or maybe on top of page 3. Any of them will still give the same result. Then you go to layout, breaks, and then you choose either continuous page or next page. Any of them will be fine. Then after that, you double click on the header, remove link to previous, and you double click on the footer. You remove link to previous. Why do we click the link to previous? So that we will separate this page from page 1 and 2. You can see it's written here. Let me remove the different page. It's written here. Footer section 1. Here is also section 1. That's the same section. They are the same. These pages are the same. Now here it says section 2, meaning this section is different from the other section. Then I can comfortably insert my page number only on this page, but the rest will not have page numbers because of the section break. Now, if I want here to be page 1, not 3, I go back and say format, then I change it to 1 so that it will be 1, not 3. So that is section break so that you'll be able to create a proper page numbering system. I know it's one of the difficult topic than even grade 11 regarding the page numbers. You can go through after this lesson. The videos will be available. Then you keep on practicing these once you are going to get there. Right. If you don't play the section break, it's not going to work. Now we move straight to another interesting topic, which is proofing for grade 12 and even grade 10 and 11. That is track changes, spelling and grammar, comment, language, word count, and others. So I'm going to start with 1M spot. Find the word inclusion in the first paragraph. Change the words or the words proofing language to English South Africa. On the first paragraph, inclusion, you say we might change it to English South Africa. So you select inclusion. Then on the status bar, you'll find here, it is in Afrikaans. Or sometimes you see US language also. So you double click. Then you now click on English South Africa. Then you click OK. That's how you change the proofing language. Only for this part will be in English. You select it, double click. You go there and then you say OK. Right now, if you want to set the whole document, you select all of them. Double click here and then you can change it also. That's how we set the language to English South Africa. And please, in most cases, learners will take it as easy thing. They keep on struggling with that. Alternatively, you could have done this by selecting. You go to search and say language. It's going to give you language options. Then you choose the language that you are looking for. Or you can say proofing language. Spelling and grammar, you see language. Then you can set your language that you are looking for. English, South Africa, or English, then you say add the language and OK. But the shortcut is this one. Just double click and then you can change it. Or somebody can also do that by going to review, then you say language, then you say set proofing language, and then you do that. That's a long process. It's a long process. Right. Now, don't forget when you are setting it also, we have the entire document and then we have the current document. They can ask you to choose that also. The next question, to rescue, set the proofing language of the document to English, South Africa, and justify the document. That's the to rescue. The question says we must set the language to English, South Africa, and then we should justify everything. So we select the entire content, then we should justify. This is justify. If you don't know where to find justify, don't forget you can type it also. And then the proofing language is here. Double click, then you set it to South Africa. You double click on English South Africa, so that it will be set to English South Africa. Or alternatively, you can go to review, language, set proofing language, then choose English South Africa, then you say okay. Right, that is another way of doing that, setting the proofing language. Now, we move on to another question. So this is also Q1 rugby. Now the question says, locate the word highlighted in blue under the heading, the journey begins. The word is not marked as a spelling error, even though behavior is spelled incorrectly. Adjust a word processing setting to ensure that the behavior is flagged as a spelling error. So this question here, they didn't go straight by saying change the proofing language. They are saying it's giving a spelling error, even though it is correct. That means the language was, so you need to change it to English South Africa. Now let's look at that. I think it's somewhere here. This behavior. So you select, you double click on this, and then go to English South Africa. So now behavior is wrong. Then it will underline because it is English South Africa. So now you can see that it has been underlined as wrong. Right. So that's how we change the proofing language. The next question, 2 PDP. Find the text traveled in the first paragraph and replace it with any synonym from the list provided in the thesaurus. So 2, now troubled. This is the word. This is the word, and they will say we must find the synonym. So the synonym and then the antonym, the synonym is word of the same meaning, and the antonym is the opposite meaning. So the words of the same meaning, we must get the right one. Troubled here, the one that is similar to troubled. So you right click and then you see synonym. Then you go to thesaurus. Now, sometimes, which is the opposite in meaning and adjectives and everything here. So no, the right one to represent. So I change it to that. So now let me pick the word already or consent. You click there, then you say insert. So consent will be inserted instead of that. So to do that, you select. If you wanted an antonym, you go synonym and thesaurus. Now, if you want, there's a, in some instances, you right click, you see insert so that it will be able to replace that particular word. Right. So that is how we change the synonym and then the antonyms. Then we go to track changes. Track changes. Now, I'm still going to use the 2 PDP. It says, locate the second paragraph containing track changes under the heading PDP proofs. Use a word processing feature to keep the deleted text and stop all the tracking. Now, the second page, whenever you see blue line with a line cross, that means there has been some changes made into that particular document. Now, we are now either to accept or reject. So let's say you give your pet document to your educator, and after going through, you make some changes to your document. Now, when you get it, you have to activate the track change so that you can either accept the changes made. Here, they said we must reject or to keep the deleted text and stop all the tracking, meaning that we have to accept or no, we have to reject the changes because they deleted it. We have to reject the changes. So there are other ways of doing that. You can right click on it and see here reject. When you right click, you see reject changes. If you don't find it, the easier way is to go to review and then choose all markup. Now, when you choose all markup, it shows every change. If I go to simple markup, you will never see any change there. But if I go to all markup, you will see all the changes. Now you can activate them here. You say reject the change. You click there and say reject change, and then the changes will be rejected. I don't need the spelling, so you can just select them also, reject change, and move to next. You can reject it. Also, you can select all of them, then say reject changes. So you can accept change or you reject. You have to go to review, and then you see all markup. You can reject or you can accept. And then they are saying that we have to remove stop tracking. So stop tracking, we can just put it to the no markup so that the tracking will not be there. Right. So take note. So there are track changes for everyone and then also just mine. Now, you can see a track changes for only you or for everybody who have done any changes to that. So you can just track the changes for everyone, then to activate all the changes for everyone, or just yours that you made, or you can lock the tracking, like what the question says. We have to lock the tracking so that there won't be any tracking on this document. Right. That is the stopping of the tracking changes. Now let's look at other questions regarding track changes. Let's go to Q7 merge letter. Underscore merge letter. Now, according to the question, it says, accept all track changes that were made to the document. Now, we are going to accept all the track changes that were made. So also you go to review, you will see track changes, accept and move on, or accept all the track changes. Now, if the question says accept and stop tracking, you go here and say accept, stop tracking. So that is another way of accepting and then stopping all the track changes. Again, one protect. Let's look at one protect. Remember, track changes is term 1. Now the question says, reject the track change on the cover page of the document. This is the cover page, and there's a track change made here. You right click and then you reject the deletion. Or you can do it this way by clicking on it, review, track change, you say reject this change. And this question didn't say you must lock it, so you can choose the other option. Now, still under this document, it says you must do the following. Edit the text, save animals, add the comment to the file properties of the document. So the file properties, we must add the text, save animals. We go to file, info. Then we see show all properties. Then we can now add it as a comment. And the comment says save animals. As a comment. Right, the next question. Find the word strongest in the first paragraph under the heading Jaguar on the second page. Change this word language to English South Africa. So there's a strongest somewhere here. You select. We are changing the language to English South Africa. So we double click and then we double click on English South Africa so that this one will now change to English South Africa. Then find the comment and reply the text, the big 5. Now, how do you find the comment? You must go to review and show all the comments. So all the comments will be on the right-hand side here. So we are going to reply and say big 5. The big 5. Right. And then you click here, post reply. So that it's going to reply for you. Right. Now you can delete the comment. You can do so many things to the comment and then resolve it also. You can do that. One health also inspect the document and remove all the hidden text from the document. I think we did this the last time. How to remove the hidden text. Like I said, to remove the hidden text, you go to file and then you will see info. Then you see inspect. Then inspect document. Then you inspect also. Now you find hidden text. Then you click on remove all, so that all the hidden text will be removed from this document. Now, so that's the track changes. So we have track changes, accept and rejecting track changes, and then also the spelling and grammar, the comment, and then the word count. They can also ask you to insert the number of words, the word count. So let's say this one, the question says we have to insert the number of words. Now, word count, you can get it from review, and then you see word count. It shows here the number of words, the number of pages, and others, but it will never display here. So for you to insert the number of words inside the document, then it should be a field. You go to insert failed from quick part, then you look for the number of words, num words, and then you are going to get a number of words. So that's how we do the word count. Then also spelling and grammar, like correcting the mistakes and others. You'll be having a document and you have to correct all the mistakes. You find them under review. Then you will see spelling and grammar, then you correct all those mistakes. If this one is wrong, you also pick the right one or you ignore it once. Right. So that is all we do regarding word count and then proofing. Now, without wasting much time, and I will check also if there are no questions, then we move on. We move on to the next topic, which is columns. Now, how to insert column and how to apply column breaks. How to insert column. Now, you can see this one here. So locate the yellow highlighted text in 3 columns on page 6. Change it to appear as follows. Now you can see 3 columns and each heading appearing on top of each column. So I'll open one day. So on page 6, column is already inserted. Now the question says you must make sure that each heading appears on top of each column. So you can see here, spectacular is on top. So you click before that heading. Then you go to layout, breaks, then you see column break. Layout breaks, then you see column. So that to be on top of this column. Now you want this to be on top also. You go there, layout breaks, and then choose column. So that each of them will be on top of each column. So the trick is you insert the column break. Right, let's look at other questions regarding columns. 1 COVID. It says, find the text that starts with some immediate changes and ends with rebuilding process ahead. Divide the text into 2 columns. Change the width of the first column to 7 centimeters and change the space between the 2 columns to 2 centimeters. So I open 1 COVID. So let me look for here. Here is this some immediate. So from here up until this side. And we must put it in 2 columns. So we go to layout, column, and then more columns. Or alternatively, you can go to search and type column. You will see add and remove columns. Then you'll find more columns. We pick 2 columns. And then it says the width of the first column should be 7 centimeters. So the width of the first column should be 7 centimeters. Sometimes they can even ask you the second column, the width also. Then that one you have to remove the equal column width. They can also ask you to put a line in between, but this one, there was no line in between. So change the spacing between the 2 columns to 2 centimeters. And this is the spacing, which is 2 centimeters. Now the space is 2. And this is 7. Right. So the space is 2 and this one is 7. Now, what if they ask you to put maybe this text starting from many cultural establishments, to be on top of the second column. So you click there and then you go to layout, breaks, then you choose column so that it will be on top of the second column. You put the column break. Right, more under columns. We will take 1 or 2 questions under column. Now you can see that okay, this is just signature line. And this one, yeah, this is a column, to exhibition. Let's take a look at that. Now we want it to look like that. Approve and then signature. So it was here. We put this one in 2 columns. Layout, columns, and it should be 2. Now look at this. The first column ends somewhere here, which is around 8. This is 7.5 and 8 centimeter. And then between here is just 1. Then before you go to the next one. So here is 8 centimeter and 1 in between. So the yes and then the no. Then the signature must be on top of the second column. So you click before the signature, layout, breaks, then you choose column. So that signature will be on the second line. So now if I scroll down, you will realize that here is starting here. This first column, ending here, and this one continue. So this signature will be the second column. And here it says you must add the signature line. So you insert signature line. You search signature line, and then the signer was PW. There was no email address and others. And they don't want to have that number and anything. So basically, this one, they place it in 2 columns, and then they added the signature line. So you can add signature line also for your pets, for your questionnaire, so that maybe those who answer, if you want them. Let's take a look at, so that's all about columns. So you can see here, similar question. This one must be on top of the second column, 9 centimeter and others, and line between. So you can try your hands on this. Now let's look at one travel. This one, they didn't talk about column. I want to show you how you can realize that it is column. And I like this type of question. You can see that they gave a screenshot from 1 up until 7 or 8. That's the first column ending here. And then this one starting from here. So here they just gave you a screenshot that make the necessary changes so that the paragraph appears as follows. Now, if you're not careful, you might be thinking that it is ruler setting. This is a column. There are 2 columns, the first and then the second. So we take a look at that one. I think it's somewhere here. Yes, here. So you select both paragraphs and then you go to layout, columns. And there are 2 columns. So there we go. And now, if you take a look at the question. We highly recommend, and then your trip should be on top of this one. So here we can set the column break so that your trip will now start on top of this page. You can see here, your trip to cover emergency is starting. So I have to insert the column break over here. Right, so that's how we adjust to insert column breaks and then also column. You can also try your hands. I gave a number of activities regarding column break like this one to help us. You can see that they put them in 3 columns and each number is starting on top of each page, and then the distance is 1 centimeter. You can also try your hands on this. They gave some example, these two, and then you can also do that. Right, that's all about columns. Now, without wasting much time, if there's no question, I'll move straight to multi-level list or numbering system. Multi-level list. And then I'm going to take 2 or 3 activities about multi-level list. Then you also do the rest. Now, one, oversharing. Find the numbered list towards the end of the document. Change the numbered list as follows. The numbered list should be WebDins character code 230 as bullet symbol, and place the bullet at 1 centimeter from margin, and then the text 0.8 centimeter from the bullet. Use a word processing feature to ensure that the paragraph before the list will not be separated from the list if it stretches over 2 lines. So 1, oversharing. Now it says we must find a numbered list. I think it's this one. And then we must change it to bullet with character code, WebDins character code 230. So these are the numbered list. Then when you go to numbered list, you change to bullet. And then you go to define new bullet, or you can select them. Then you go to bullet, define new bullet, and it should be a symbol. Then the symbol name is WebDins. Then character code is 230. Now, you click OK. Then the question again says 1 centimeter from the margin and then 0 centimeter from the bullet. You right click on the bullet. Then you see adjust list indent. Adjust list indent. And then it says 1 centimeter from the margin. So you change it to 1 centimeter. And then 0.8 centimeter for bullet position. And then OK. Right, so 1 centimeter from the margin, which is the left. And then also the bullet is the 8 centimeter, the position there. Right, so that's how we change the bullet. Now, word processing feature so that the paragraph before the list will not be separated from the list if it stretches. That means they must be kept together. This paragraph and then this list must be kept together. They shouldn't be separated. So you select them and then you find it under the paragraph settings. You can get it here. Or alternatively, from the search, you type paragraph. And then we have line and page break. Then we say keep lines together. Keep lines together or keep with next. They must be together. They must not be separated. These ones must be kept together. Right. So that's all about bullet, the first one. Now, one travel. We will try as much as possible to cover almost everything, touching every question. Then I'll make sure that I separate them per topic, and then I'll make it a playlist. After this session, you will get access to all these videos together with the previous one so that you can use it to prepare very well for Microsoft Word. Now, it says, find the bulleted list under the heading for review travel basics and change the indentation so that the bullets start at 1 centimeter and then the text that follows start at 2.5 centimeters. So here, these are the bullets. And here the bullets must start at 1 centimeter and then the text at 2.5. So you see, these are the bullets. You select the bullets. The bullet must start at 1 centimeter. The bullet must start at 1 centimeter. 1. That's the indentation must be 1 centimeter for the bullets. Left indent should be 1 centimeter. Good. And then again, the text here must be 2.5 centimeter. So the text must be 2.5 centimeters. Now look at the text position. Must be 2.5. So you can use the, what do you call it? The left tab stop so that it will be on 2.5 centimeter. And then this one must be at 1 centimeter to separate them. Not 2.5, I can see that it's 3. So the text must be 2.5 centimeter here. Right, so that's how we use the ruler setting to adjust them. Now, multi-level list. So here they are all the same indent at 1 centimeter from the margin, and then the text 1.5 centimeters. So all these are some of them that you can do when you are doing. You right click and say adjust list indent, and then you can now change them over there. Right. Now we move straight to multi-level list. I'm going to focus on 1M spot. Now multi-level list is one list inside another one. So if you take a look at this 1M spot, the question says, it gave a screenshot. Locate the text arranged in columns on landscape orientated page and apply the bullet to the text in the first column as follows. Insert the 1WCR image as a bullet. Align it to be 0.5 centimeter from the margin. Set the indent at 1 centimeter. Right. So here, we need to insert this one as bullet. So these are 1, 2, 3. So these ones must be bullets. You select them by holding down the control key to select them. And then bullets WCR. Then you right click and choose adjust list indent. Then the question says 0.5 centimeter. which is the bullet position, and 1 centimeter. So bullet position is 0.5, and this one is 1 centimeter. Right. So that's how it's supposed to be. Now, if they want you to also do the same for this, you do the same. What you do, you select, hold down the control key to select each of them. Then you go to bullets, and then you select your bullets. Right. So that is all about bullets and numbering. Now, multi-level list. Multi-level list is one list inside another list. So you can see that over here, we have 1, 2, 3 as the first level. And that is the join a conversation, conservation organization, adopt an elephant. Those are the first level. And here, the second level is 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. Those are the second level. So one protect. Now, whenever you are dealing with this type of multi-level list, the first thing to do is to select all of them. Right. And then multi-level list, you can use search and type multi-level list. Or alternatively, when you are at home, you will see multi-level list just after the numbering, this one. Then you choose the one that is in the list library that is similar to it. This is similar to that one. 1.1 and others is similar. So you choose this one. Now, you realize that the international elephant is 1.1. So you click before international elephant, and then we are going to make it to be 1.1, not 2. So what you do is you make use of this, which is the increase indent. If you want to take it back, you choose decrease indent. So increase indent, or you can use the tab stop to change that. Now you can see over here, this is 2.1, 2.2, not 2.1.1. So you select all this, then you go to decrease indent to take it back to 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, and 2.4. Because when you choose increase indent, it is the third level. Increase again will take you to the fourth level, the fifth level, sixth, and others. So now we wanted 2.1, which is the second level. Then you do the same for this. You select them and choose decrease indent. Right. So that's how we do this simple multi-level listing. Now let's look at other multi-level listing question. Now this question says one member newsletter. Find a text starting with COVID-19 has plunged and then ending with around COVID-19 under the heading Pure Health on page 6. Create and apply a multi-level list as follows. Insert the image one bullet for all the level 1, and then set the indent to be 2 centimeters away from the bullet. Insert the numbering Roman numbers for level 2 and 2 centimeters as shown below. So this is the screenshot. The first level is the bullet, and this is the second level. So let's take that one member. All right, I think it's this one. Under the pure health launches, that's the one we are going to use. So when you go there, you'll find the first level should be the bullet, which is the image, and then the second level will be the Roman numbers. So we are going to first select them. You are going to select them up until the last one. And then you go to multi-level list. Like I said, you can use the search and type multi-level list, or alternatively, you can use the home tab and then you find multi-level list. Now, because this one we are using images and others, so you just go to define new multi-level list. Now, these are the levels, level 1, 2, 3, up until level 9. So the first level, according to the question, it should be the bullet, one bullet. So you go to number style for this level and change it from that circle to bullet by using the one image. So when you scroll down, you see new picture. You want to use a picture as the bullet. And then from file, then we select our picture. Right, so it says one bullet, I think this one. And according to the question, it should be 2 centimeters away from the bullet. So here we change the text indent at 2 centimeters. Now, they did not talk about the bullet placement. So the bullet placement is 0 centimeter. Text indent is 2 centimeters because they say away from the bullet. Then you go to the second level. The second level should be Roman numbers. So we change it to these Roman numbers. And again, 2 centimeters. Right, so when you are done, you click OK. So this should be, it will give the first level. Now check the example here. The second level only start from this show is aim at, and then this show also aim to create. So we go and look for that. This show is aim at. You select these two, and then you click on increase indent so that it will be at second level, and these ones will be the first level. So that is how we do multi-level list. Always go and find out. Now look at this one solar. The first level is ABC. The second level is 001, 002. So let's open one solar and then we finish multi-level list. Right. Locate the numbering applied to the text under the heading, getting started with the solar in South Africa. I think this one. Getting started. The numbered list. Let's check again. Maybe I chose wrong one. Let me check again. One solar. It's still the same. Okay, let's say it's this one. Let me take this one. Because access your energy, I don't see it here. Let me check. Find and replace. Yeah, it is wrong 5. 1 solar. Yeah, this is the right one. It's 1 solar into bracket 1. That should be the right file. Right. So here we have this data. Now you select this. And then you go to multi-level list. Now, the first level, as you can see here, define new level, is ABC. So we change the number style to be ABC, this one. But that ABC is having bracket open and bracket close. It's enclosed within bracket. So we go and change it here. Enter formatting for the number. We put the bracket open and then close bracket. Then we move to the second level. It's 001. So we go and change the number style. This is 001, this one. And again, it also has bracket open and bracket close. Now, they didn't mention the alignment and anything. They didn't mention anything. Then you click OK. Now, this calculate should be level 1 or level 2. You go to level 2. This is level 2. You can do them together by highlighting. You hold down the control key. You highlight all of them. And then you press the level 2 so that they will all be under each heading. So that's how we do multi-level. There are a number of questions that you can try your hands on, like this one also. This one has a symbol and then also ABC. Like this also is a typical example. This is 1, 2, 3, and this is ABC. Check again here so that it will guide you. Right. So that is all about multi-level listing. Multi-level listing. Now, I will check also if there are no questions. Are bullets in this other state answer? Yes. Yes, they are all the same. Now we move straight to paragraph spacing and line spacing and then using the ruler settings. So I'm going to use this and show you how to also use the ruler settings and the paragraph spacing. Now, we have this question here. One pyramid. One pyramid. Now the question says, change the indentation setting on the ruler of the paragraph that starts with 1 off as follows. So 1 off here is the paragraph they are talking about. Now, the question says we might change it as follows on the ruler. Set the first line indent to 2 centimeters. Please, when they talk about first line indent, first line indent is this one on top, like a triangle. This one is first line indent. This one, the triangle that looks up, is a hanging indent. The triangle that looks down is a first line. Then the rectangle box at the bottom of the first line is called left indent. So if I want to set the first line indent, I click there and drag this one to 2 centimeters. This one, if I want to make this one as hanging indent, I go there, that triangle, and drag it 2 centimeters. So this is first line indent. This is a hanging indent. Now the left indent, let's say left indent is the one, the rectangle, the one at the bottom. You drag it to 2 centimeters. So this is left indent. This is first line indent. This is the hanging indent, and this is first line indent. Now, if I want to change the right indent, this is the right indent, to 14 centimeters here. So this question wanted us, first of all, to set the first line indent to 2 centimeters, this one, and the right indent at 14 centimeters. You take it to 14 centimeters. Now, if you don't use the ruler setting, then you go and use the paragraph settings. You can see the right indent is 1.92. If you change it here, if you change it to 14 centimeters as right indent, it's going to give you this error message that says the indent size is too large. So if they talk about the ruler settings, make use of the ruler settings and set it, not on the paragraph. Right, let's look at other questions also. One pyramid. Again, the same one pyramid. It says change the line and the paragraph spacing of the second paragraph that starts with the grand. This one. This is the second paragraph. And then set the paragraph spacing to 18 centimeters after, or 8 centimeters after. So to set the paragraph, there are 2 ways of doing that. You can go to paragraph, then open it here, or you go there and type paragraph. It's going to give you paragraph settings. Now the question says paragraph spacing to 8 centimeters. So this is paragraph spacing after, then change to 8 centimeters. And then it says again, set the line spacing to multiple of 1.4. So line spacing, you choose multiple at 1.4. Right, so we change it at paragraph spacing. Now, use the paragraph setting to ensure that the heading insert here will always appear as the first line of the new document. Insert here should be as the first line in the new page or the new page. Yes. So meaning we are putting it here. Don't go and use page break by pressing like this. That is wrong. Or don't go and use Control plus Enter to use page break. Or you go to insert and then choose break. Or you go to layout and choose break and see page break. No, that's wrong. Why is it wrong? Because the question says use the paragraph setting. They did not tell you to use the page layout settings. So the paragraph setting that can do that for you, you click there. From home, you see paragraph settings, and then you go to line and page break. Then you see page break before, and then OK. So when we are marking, we'll go and check whether you use the paragraph setting called page break before. So you need to take note of that. One street. Find a paragraph that begins with what exactly is. Change the line spacing to 20 pt at least, and the indentation to appear as you see. So I'm going to open one street. Right. Now the question says, we have to change it as follows. What exactly? This one. You select this text, and then line spacing to be 20 pt at least. So line spacing is also part of paragraph. If you don't know where to find, you can also type line spacing. It's going to give you, then you go to line spacing option. Right. So now the question says at least. Look out for exactly, multiple, and others. So we choose at least, and then it says 20 pt. You change it to 20 pt. Then change the indentation to appear. So we are done here. We are going to change the indentation so that it appears as you see. Now look at the indentation. Both the top triangle and then the bottom and then the rectangle are all on 1 centimeter. So meaning we call it left indent. So we change the bottom one and take it to 1 centimeter. And then this one is also the right indent at 14 centimeter. So we go to right indent and then we change it to 14 centimeter. So this is what your final results should look like. 1 centimeter and then 14 centimeters. Right. That's the paragraph settings or the ruler setting for you. One mission. Use a suitable word processing feature to ensure that the heading echo school framework and its respective paragraph will always appear on the same page. Now, whenever you get this question, will always appear on the same page, meaning that we use paragraph settings. Now, let's take a look at one mission, and then we will just wrap up with our that particular topic. Now, the question says the echo, this paragraph and this heading must be together. So we go to paragraph settings, then you go to line and page break. Then you take this one, keep lines together. Keep with next. They must all be together. So you have to watch out for that. Whenever you get a question that says, use the spreadsheet feature to ensure that they are always on the same page, you must use paragraph settings. Like this one also, the heading will always appear on a new page. This is page break before, on a new page, page break before. Here also will always move together, keep lines together, two Avengers. So you see these questions also. Now, we go to one modern. We'll try to cover every topic in word processing. Remember, word processing should be done in term 1 for joint examination and even final examination. So you need to be done with word processing so that you can focus on spreadsheet and other questions. Now the question says, set the hyphenation of the whole document so that all the words are automatically hyphenated. So the entire document, meaning we have to select the entire document. We have to select the entire document. Hyphenation, you can search and you see change hyphenation, then you go to hyphenation option, or you can get it from layout. You will see hyphenation, and then you go to hyphenation option. Now the question say automatically hyphenate document. You tick there. They didn't give us the limit, then you click OK. So that's how we answer that question. Then the next one, it says, to help us set the hyphenation so that the words in capital letters are not hyphenated. But let's go to one endurance first before we come to that particular one. One endurance. Now the question says, limit the hyphenation in the document to 2 consecutive lines. So you go to hyphenation, and then you go to hyphenation option. Then you see limit consecutive hyphens to 2. And then for the whole document, you want to limit it to 2. So that's the hyphenation option. Right. Let's look at the last example of hyphenation. It says two helpers. Now the question says, set the hyphenation so that the words in capital letters are not hyphenated. So you go to layout hyphenation options, hyphenate words in caps, so you must uncheck. So mean the words in hyphenation will not be. Let me do that again. You must go to this layout hyphenation options, and then you must remove this. Right, so that the words in the hyphenation will, or the words in capital letters will not be hyphenated. Right. I think we have done a lot. Let's wrap up with one member newsletter. It says we need to do the following: remove the soft enter, replace the light green with yellow. Let's look at that. One member newsletter. It says we must look out for light green shaded on page 7. So we go to page 7. This one. And now the question says we might change the font to Arial narrow. So the font, we type Arial narrow. Then change the case to sentence case. So sentence case, you'll find it from the font group. The one with capital A, small a, you change it to sentence case. Set the spacing to multiple of 1.15. So you go to paragraph group, line spacing multiple of 1.15. You can type them 1.15. And then remove the soft enter. Enter is, we call it manual line break. Here is it. This is soft enter. Like an enter to the right hand side. This is a soft enter. This one is a soft enter. So we have to remove them. You select and you press delete. There's another one here also. There has been an enter here. That's why this one cannot continue here. So we want them to continue. So you select and press delete. That's the soft enter. Right. Now correct the spacing. There are some spacing errors there that you can correct them. You must check them. Where there are too many spaces, like here. When you activate it, you see the spacing error. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 spaces, so you must delete them. Only there should be 1 dot there, not more than 1. I think that is the only one with that. There's also a soft enter here. You remove it. Great. And then replace the light green with yellow shading. So you select this shading. You change it to yellow shading. Right, that's all for this question. Now, I think we have done a lot regarding the paragraph spacing and then others. Now, the indentation that we talked about, the ruler settings. Take a look at this one solar again. And this particular question, all these are ruler settings, which we're going to look at them. And then the indentation. We will do some questions also, indentation and text stop using the ruler settings. Right, I will start with the first question. One, solar. Now the question says, switching the solar. I think it's not this one. Again, it's one solar one. And this one. Right, now the question says we must change this one so that it looks exactly as you can see here. We can realize that this one is 14 centimeter and it's 1 centimeter and it's shaded with yellow with double line. So you select this paragraph, then you change it to 1 centimeter. It's a left indent, and then you change this one to 14 centimeters. Then we shade it to yellow, and we put a border. Borders and shading. Then it should be maybe custom or 3D, and it should be double line. And then the color of the double line should be red. And it should be only the top and bottom, not the side. So I must remove the side borders to be only the top and bottom on that particular paragraph, and okay. So this is how it's supposed to be. Right. Let's take a look at the second one, still under the paragraph settings or the ruler settings. You can see here, this is 2 centimeter, and here is starting on 1 centimeter. So Q1 rugby. I think is that, yeah, here is it. Now, where the ethane is being pushed in up to 2 centimeter, which is the first line. That's why you see it here as first line. So we need to click there and then choose the first line to 2 centimeters. And then this side to 14,5, as you can see here. Then we have this one to 1 centimeter and this one to 2 centimeter. So the left indent is at 1 centimeter and this one is at 2 centimeters, as you can see here. Right, so that is all about that. Always study it and then you place it in the ruler settings. A typical example is this one here. Q2 songs, this tab stop by using the ruler settings. It says add tab stop to resemble the screenshot below. So that's Q2. Q2 song. Now, where we're gonna assign, here is it. Good. And then there's a tab stop with a line. The line starts from 3 centimeters and then it ends at right at 9 centimeter. And then the sign here, if you look here, start at left indent at 0 centimeter. So we click here, it's left indent of 0 centimeter. Then the line is starting at 3 centimeters. So we go to 3 centimeter. Now, how do we use tape stop or the ruler setting for tape stop? You don't click in the middle. Like I told you, when you double click in the middle, it's going to give you page setup. Now, to set a tape stop, you click on this gray line here under the ruler. So 3 centimeter, that gray line, just double click. It's going to set it up for 3 centimeters, which is left tape stop. Then again, 9 centimeter, there's a line from 3 to 9 with a line, and it is right tape stop. When you see it like this, it is right tape stop. So take note of the tape stops. Left is like L, right is like L, that is 10 to the left-hand side. So I go to 9 centimeter. For the gray one, I double click also. But it's giving me the left. So I change this 9 to right tape stop, and then I set it. But there are lines leading to that. So I choose a leader line with the dotted lines and set it. So the 9 centimeter is having a leader line, and then I click OK. Right, it goes to 9 centimeter with a line. So that's how we set a tape stop using the ruler settings. Right, this one we did also, you can see here, 2 equal to 2 centimeter, and then this is at 0, and then they put this one 15 centimeter. So let's also look at that. Right. So an image was inserted, and then a border. So 2 centimeter, first line, and then also 15 centimeters. Then they put an image. Let me go and look out for that image. I think it was 1 green or 2 green. Let's check the question again. Like 2 green image. Yeah, yes. So you drag that image and come and put it there on the right hand side here. Now this image, they didn't talk about the height. So you need to increase the height. Then I must change it to square so that I can move it to the right hand side. Then the image was cropped. So you go to picture format, crop, crop to shape, and it was cropped to this shape. You drag it, as you can see from the screenshot, it must cover everything. Right, now we put, we go to insert and put a shape, which is the text box around this one, so that we can now change the text box layout option to behind text, so that there will be a border around them. So watch out for this type of questions also, whereby you put a border, then they tell you to put a text stop or put the indentation by looking at the ruler settings, to change them. So you must also watch out for such type of questions. Right. Now you can see here Q2 application. There's a tape stop 7 centimeters and 24. So I'm going to do this two, and then I'll end here. Then you do the rest of the questions. There are so many tape stop questions that you can make use of them. Just try your hands on all the tape stop questions. Right, so I'm going to do this too with you. This one, Q2 application. Q2 application. Now, there's a list items here. You can see here that there's a tape stop at a certain position. Now, when you see this, whenever you see this one, I want to just draw it for it. Whenever you see this T, you call it center tape stop, center. If you see L like this, it's a left tape stop. If you see L turn to that side, it's right tape stop. And if you see just I like this, it is a bar tape stop. So we have 4 different tape stop and even decimal. So you can see here, this is a center tape stop at 7 centimeters. And this one is a right tape stop at 24 centimeters. And then that 24 has a line leading to that. So we need to set it exactly like that. We select them. And then the first tape stop is 7 centimeters. You go to 7, under 8, double click. But it is left, so we change to center, and then we set it. There are no line leading to that. Now you can see it here. And then the next one is 24, which is right. I go to 24, below 8, double click, and then to be right with a line leading to that. There are lines leading to that one. And then you click on set. No, I change it. Let me go back to this 7 centimeter should be center with no line, set. And then the 24 centimeter is with a bar and then set. So that's how it's supposed to look like. You just set it, double click, and then you now change the thing. That's how we set a simple tape stop like this one. Now look at this. This is also a tape stop, 7 centimeter tape to the existing one to look like that. Now, when you see this, if you're not careful, you'll be thinking that it's a column. This is a bar tape stop. It's a bar one. Now, let's look at it one zoom. Now, here is it. So you select them. At 7 centimeters. So you go to 7 centimeters, double click, and then you must set it as a bar tape stop because of the line, the straight line. 7 centimeters bar, and then you set it. So there'll be a line at 7 centimeter. Now you click here, then you press this one. If it doesn't work for increase indent, you can use the tab. You press the tab. Right. So you can see that they are behind that bar at 7 centimeters. So that's how we set the bar tab stop. Like the question said, do not use columns. This is a tape stop. This is the left at 3 centimeters, 6 centimeters center, 8 centimeter center, and then 11.5 centimeter, which is the right tape stop. So you can be looking at most of these questions regarding the tape stop, and then you set them. Right. Without wasting much time, let me move straight to drop cap. Now, drop cap is just a simple topic for grade 10 and then grade 11. I'm going to do 1 or 2 questions. Then I go to table. Now, this is the 2M shows for drop cap. The question says modify the drop cap I found on the first paragraph. Position the drop cap so that it does not appear in margin. Format the drop cap to drop over 3 lines. There is I drop cap here. So you select it, and then when you right click, this is the drop cap. You select the drop cap. Don't do this. When you click on it, it will come like a text box. Right click and see drop cap. Then you can now change it to in margin so that it does not appear in margin. So we change it to drop, and then we set it to 3 lines. So that's how we modify existing drop cap. Now, this one, we need to create a drop cap with 0.5 centimeters. Also, 1 member newsletter, there's a drop cap. Check the number of lines is covering it over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. And this is not in margin. This is the dropped one. So let's look at that also. One member. I think it was applied. Let's check it again. Find a paragraph that starts with the text more than 60% on page 5. Format the first one to look like that. So page 5. This one. So you click it and then drop cap. You can use insert, or you just go to search and type drop cap. Add drop cap, and then you go there. Then it was dropped with 5 lines. How do you see that 5 lines? Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they say the distance should be 0.5 centimeters. So the distance should be 0.5 centimeters. Right. So that's how we do drop caps. We can see here with 2 lines that's being dropped. And then this one also 3 lines being dropped. You must check that. Here, 2 lines being dropped. And sometimes drop cap, they can tell you to shade it. To shade, you select, and then you can now shade it with the color of your choice. So that is how we shade drop cap also. Right. After drop cap, I'm going to move straight to tables. Now, the tables, I will just summarize with 1 or 2 questions. Then you see how to do tables. First of all, basic concepts in tables, calculations in table, and then also modifying tables. Please, before that, let me check if there's no other question. If there are no other questions, then I'll, okay. So I'm moving straight to table, and then we have to end the session. Then tomorrow, or maybe I'll tell you the time and another date so that we can finish off Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word involves a lot. So we're going to close the chapter with a table today. And then in the next lesson, we will focus mainly on references and then also developer forms, mail merge, and others. So that one will not be, we'll spend more time regarding that. Right. Now, regarding table, let's start with the first table. 2, a queen. Now, the question says, format the table as follows. Insert a solid line border outside with 4.5 pt without changing the inside borders. Set the default cell spacing to 0.05 centimeter. So there's a table under the heading body language. This is the table. Now the question says we need to set the border to 4.5 pt, that's outside, and then we don't change the inside border. Now, whenever you are dealing with tables, select the table by clicking on the select tip or two tip. When you click on it, it select the entire table. Now, it's going to give you table design and then table layout. We use table design to put the borders and then also to change the header row, the banded rows, banded columns, and then the table style. We use the table layout to delete column, delete row, merge cells, and then also properties of a table, change directions, cell margin, sort calculations, and then header rows. Now, this question says we need to set the table outer border to 4.45 pt. So here we pick 4.45 pt. Is it 4.45? 4.5 pt. Now the border has only up to 3 pt. Over here, we can go more and look for the borders. This is 4.5 here, 4.5. So if you don't have the option here, you go and select it here by clicking on this arrow, and then you choose it from here. Right. And then again, when you select it, then you go to border. Then you say outside border, so that it will be applied to outside. We are not changing the inside one, as the question says. Then we go back to table layout. Let's not forget to select it. Table layout, and then cell margin. Then the question says we might change the cell margin. We take allow spacing between cells 0.05 centimeters. So that will be the cell margin. Now the cell margin, that's a lot. If I change it to 1 centimeter, it's going to give the spaces between the cells. You see the spaces between individual cells. That is the cell margin. Now the question says we might change it to 0.05. Right. So that is all about that particular question. Now, 2M shows. This question here, so here they had it, they want us to apply it to be in table. So let's look at it. 2M shows. Now it says we might find a text that starts with Extreme Festival. Extreme Festival. Okay, this one. Right. Now it says we should do it like that. That means this one was merged together. You go to table layout and choose merge for this one. And then they put a border around it, a thick border. So you select, then you go to table design, we pick a thick border. You can change the pen color to black and then a thick one. This is 3PT. Then we choose outside border. Then the inside one remains the same. So that is what they wanted us to do for that particular question. Right, now, one honey trade. Let's take a look at that also. Then the question says, find the green highlighted text under the heading honey and esports to the rest of the world. Convert the text into table. Remove the green highlight. Hint, choose text as a separator. There's a table or there's a text that starts with or under the heading honey esports. Okay, this one. Now we need to change this one into a table. You select them. Don't select it to cover the other space also. It must be the exact selection like this. Then you go to insert table. Then you see convert text to table. Now the question says we need to use the tab as a separator. So here we use the tab as a separator and then okay. Now it should be 3 columns. So meaning that this one covered, so we can just cut this to this place and then we cut this also. We don't need these 2 columns. So you go to table design and say delete column. We don't need these 2. Right. So now with this, there are lots of things that you can do about this table. Let's take a look at some of the things you can do. When you select the table, under the table layout, we have auto fit. Auto fit to window to cover the entire window. And then we have auto fit to content to fit in the content. So the question can tell you to auto fit. Again, we can also, like I said, change the properties, and they will make you to the center. Again, when you go to table layout and you choose properties, they can also ask you to do this. That's the preferred width in measurement, percent, or in centimeters. Or they can also ask you to specify the row, height, and weight, and then the cell spacing, they can ask you. Then the alternative text, the title and description, the alternative text for the table, for the title and description. You get it under the properties. So you must watch out for that. Then again, if they ask to center vertically and horizontally, you will find it under table layout. You will see here, center align to vertically and horizontally. Then they can also ask you to change the direction. When you click here, let's say we want to insert a new one on top, you click there and then you go to table layout, you will see insert row above. So let's say we want to merge this, you select and you see merge cells. Now, if you want to cut this and paste, you select it, you right click and choose cut, then you paste it inside here. We can also do a lot. When you come here, we have what we call the repeat header. We can do that. And we can sort your document also. If you're asked to sort them, you can select and say sort. Then we want to sort according to maybe the top 10, or we want to sort according to the value. In ascending or descending. So you can be given a question to sort it in ascending order or descending order. Then again, we can do calculations. Let's say we want to do calculations here with the values. When you are to do calculations, you go to table layout and then you find formula. Then we can do the calculations here. There are lots of functions that you can select. Let's say average. Then inside the bracket, you say above. That means going to find average of the above. Then again, let's say your calculation, you want to round it. You say round, you open bracket, and then you put everything to, let's say, comma 1. So you can round it to 1 decimal place. You can do all forms of calculations here with round and others. They can even ask you to do percentage, average divided by 100. Then you change it to percent. Right, so all forms of calculations can also be done over here that you need to take note as a grade 12 learner or even grade 11 learner, all forms of calculation. Then again, the cell margin that I showed you, you can change the cell margin and direction. They can ask you to change this direction, to change the direction to any direction of your choice. But if they ask to shade the values, you don't use this shading for table. We don't use this one for shading. We use table design. Then you see shading. Try to fill in the whole box. So that's how we shade also. You must take note of that. Then like I showed you earlier, the cell margin. If you go to cell margin to 1 centimeter, allow spacing to 1 centimeter. I can see there are spaces in between them. Right. So watch out for table. That is all about table that they can ask you. Like here, apply any grade table style. Then you go there. When you select the table, you must always select the table. Then the styles are under table design. These are the grade table styles. And these are the plain styles. They have the list style and others. So you need to watch out for that type of table. And then bended rows option like this one. And then the row height to exactly 0.7. So if they ask you to change this row height, you click there. Table layout, row height. You change it to the exact height. Bended rows, you get it from table design. Bended row, you take it here. And bended columns. Right. So they can ask you so many questions about this. Like you see here, they have the cell spacing for 1 centimeter. And then they told them to do some calculations here. Average number in 0 decimal place. And fill it with blue color. Here, they ask them to calculate 15% bet. We will look at that type of question. So always check out for this type of question. This one, they change the direction and they inserted a new one on the left-hand side. So there are so many things that you can also find. They can ask you to center vertically and horizontally, the dotted lines and others. So you need to watch out. This type of question, they converted it. We will look at that before we end one Zoom. And then you will see how they separated it. So I'm just going to do the last part, then we finalize the one Zoom. So, like I said here, they can ask you to also split the table and others. Let's say they ask you to insert a new one on the left, column on the left, and then you merge it. So watch out for these type of questions. These type of questions. Right. Now, there's a question about the VAT 15%, one honey trade. Let's look at how to do the VAT calculation in a table. Right, this one here. And the question says, sort the table alphabetically according to the type. That's the first column, but do not include the heading row or the last row. So here we are sorting this one here, and we are not including the last row. So we don't select the last row. Table layout, then choose sort. Under the type, in ascending order, only the text. So you are using a paragraph. Then okay. So you don't have to include this one. If you select up to here, it's going to include the last row. Right. And then again, it says, modify the formula in the last cell, highlighted in yellow, to include 15% VAT. Now, there's a calculation given to us here. We want to include 15% VAT here. So you need to click on it and you go back to formula. It says sum above. Now, to include and so whatever answer that you have there, then you must say multiply by 115 divided by 100. Now, why did I say 115 divided by 100? Because we are increasing by 15%. So we need to say 15% plus original percentage, which is 100%. Then it's going to give us 115%. And 115% is equals to 115 over 100. Then click OK. Right. Now, so to include it, that should be this one divided by 1, sum of the above. Let's check the formula again. Sum of the above times 115 over 100. I think we need to put this into bracket. Yeah, it's still the same, but maybe because of the point. Right. Now, so that's how we do the calculations. So you can go through them one by one and then you do them. Now, to PDP, this one is saying use a table feature to ensure that the top two rows will display on the second and subsequent pages. So that one here, the highest number of views, we use max. The highest number of views, so here we use max. So if it was like this one, we're going to use max. Max, you choose the max from here, the function. Then say above. You choose the function, max. Into bracket above. Right. Now, that is the max for you. And then this question was in the top must be. Let's say we want this row to be, even when you go to the next page, it should always be there. Then you use this one called repeat header rows. Repeat header rows. You click there. So that the header rows will always be repeated, even if you go to the next page. That's the property they were talking about. Then the last one here is this question, one zoo. Then you can try your hands on this for me. You try this, which is similar, 1 solar into bracket 2. This one, 1 solar 1, 1 solar into bracket 1. So take note of that. And here they were talking about percentages, and then take the percentage rounded to the closest integer. Okay, I'll look at that also, because that one demands a lot of things to do. Right. So now let's finalize this. It says find the text, that's one zoom. Find the text, this one. And then we need to convert it to the table, as you can see here. Now you can see that this table is separated, or this text, they are separated by this one. So we are converting to a table. You select them, and then you go to insert table, convert text to table. Now you can see they are being separated by not tab, by forward slash. So we go to other, and then we put the forward slash over there. Then it converts to table for us. Then we insert a new one below, so that we can now merge it and put this requirement we cut, and then we paste them here. As you can see over here, they were merged together. Then the cell margin was applied here. You go to table layout, cell margin to 1 centimeter. So that now we see it exactly as shown over there. So that is how we answer this question. You can try this also, they are similar. Then finally, let's do that with the two Avengers with the calculation. It says find a table below the heading favorability of characters, and do the following. Modify the function found in the last cell to calculate the average percentage. Average percentage. Use a function to ensure that the percentage is rounded to the closest integer, similar to what I talked about here, average percentage. So we need to go to table layout, and then we go to formula. So average percentage, we change the sum to, okay, it's already sum. So sum, and then divided by, or we can use average, divided by the count of above. No, it's rather the count divided by the sum, yes. It's the count of above divided by the sum above. So this one gives us this value, count over the sum. And then times 100, times 100, it gives us this. Then we change it according to the question. Use a function to ensure that the percentage is rounded to the closest integer. So we are going to use a function called round into bracket, comma, 0 to the closest integer, or we can even use int for that. Then I think that's all. If you want it to be in percentage, you put a percentage there. It gave us syntax error. Let's look at this. Maybe that round of count of that times 100. Count of above divided by sum of the above times that. Okay, let's look at maybe the comma or semicolon. Now let me remove the round. Let's go back and see. Count of above divided by sum of above times 100. We got a 2. And now we need to use a function to round it. We can use int function. Int function can also be used as round, which is integer to integer. Right. So that's all about this table calculations and others, the percentages and other things that you can do. Right. So you can go through them and then you do these questions also. Right. Thank you for your precious time. Let me check if there are no questions. We will end here. Thank you, everybody who joined us up to this level for your precious time. I will announce in the group, various groups, when we're gonna start with the last option, which is the MS Word form, and then other few topics that are left, styles and others. If there are no questions, we will end here. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.